once believed blood was thicker than water. Growing up, I idolized my older brother Trevor, who seemed invincible in my eyes. Then one ordinary Tuesday I found him in bed with Alicia, my girlfriend of 3 years. Now, as I plan my wedding with Madeline, I still struggle with the irony that she was once his girlfriend too. She understands my pain in ways nobody else could. Before I share how my brother's betrayal led me to true love, drop where you're watching from in the comments. Hit subscribe if you've ever had to choose your own happiness over toxic family ties. Looking back at my childhood in suburban Michigan, Trevor was everything I wanted to be. Only 2 years older, but infinitely cooler in my adolescent eyes. He taught me how to throw a curveball in our backyard, spending countless summer afternoons perfecting my technique until my arm felt like it might fall off. When neighborhood kids targeted me for my braces and glasses in 7th grade, Trevor showed up like my personal guardian angel, making it clear that messing with his little brother meant dealing with him. Our bond crystallized when our parents dropped the divorce bomb when I was 14 and Trevor was 16. The night after Dad moved out, we sat on our roof under the stars making a blood pact that seems almost melodramatic in hindsight. "It is just you and me against the world now," Trevor had said, his voice cracking slightly as we pressed our thumb cuts together. "No matter what happens, we protect each other. Always." Throughout high school, Trevor kept that promise. When my grades slipped during the custody battles, he helped me study. When I stressed about college applications senior year, he edited my essays despite being busy with his own freshman year coursework. I got into the University of Michigan largely because of his support, and I never forgot that. Blood meant something to us, or so I thought. My junior year at Michigan changed everything. I met Alicia during an economics study group. With her quick wit and ambitious energy, she stood out immediately. Her dark curls and confident smile made my heart race, but it was her intellect that truly captivated me. As a pre-med student with a perfect GPA, she approached everything with passionate intensity, including our relationship once we started dating. Within 6 months, we were inseparable. By our 1-year anniversary, we had moved into a small apartment near campus. Our lives seemed perfectly aligned. She would attend medical school while I started my business career. We talked about marriage as an eventuality, not a possibility. I had never been more certain about anyone. When Trevor first met Alicia during a weekend visit, things were awkward. He seemed distant, making only surface-level conversation. I attributed it to his recent breakup with his long-term girlfriend Madeline, whom I had only met twice at family events. Over the next year, however, his attitude toward Alicia shifted dramatically. They developed inside jokes. He texted her directly instead of through me. At the time, I was grateful they were getting along so well. After graduation, Trevor coincidentally landed a job at a marketing firm in our city. His visits to our apartment became weekly occurrences. I was thrilled at first. What could be better than having my brother and girlfriend getting along so well? I never imagined their friendliness masked something sinister brewing beneath the surface. Around our 3rd anniversary, subtle changes began disrupting my relationship with Alicia. She started staying late at the library, claiming intense study sessions for her MCAT preparation. Weekend brunches gave way to study groups with classmates I had never met. Our once passionate physical relationship cooled noticeably with Alicia, often claiming exhaustion or headaches. Meanwhile, Trevor became strangely invested in my relationship, asking leading questions about how things were going with Alicia. When I mentioned our recent difficulties, he would offer supportive but vague encouragement. "All relationships have rough patches," or "She is probably just stressed about med school applications." Little moments began to nag at me. Finding Alicia laughing at her phone, then quickly putting it away when I entered the room. Trevor canceling our basketball games last minute, without clear explanations. The way they seemed to avoid eye contact when together in group settings. I started questioning my own perception, wondering if paranoia was creeping into my thoughts. One night after Alicia came home, particularly late, I gently asked if everything was okay between us. Her reaction was disproportionately defensive. Are you seriously accusing me of something she had snapped, turning my concern into an attack? I am killing myself, studying, while managing our relationship, and this is the thanks I get. Maybe you should trust me more. I tried discussing my concerns with Trevor during our next beer night. Hey, have you noticed anything different about Alicia lately? I asked casually. His body tensed immediately. Different how he responded, studying his beer bottle intently. She seems the same to me. Maybe you are overthinking things, bro. The conversation shifted abruptly to sports, leaving my suspicions unaddressed but somehow amplified. The discovery happened on a rainy Thursday. I had been sent on a 3-day business trip to Chicago but returned a day early when our client canceled the final meeting. Driving home through the afternoon downpour, I was actually excited to surprise Alicia with takeout from her favorite Thai restaurant. The first warning sign was the unfamiliar car in our apartment complex parking lot. Except it was not unfamiliar at all. The blue Mazda belonged to Trevor, who had no reason to be at our place while I was supposedly out of town. Still, I reasoned there might be an innocent explanation. Maybe he was dropping something off. Maybe he and Alicia were planning a surprise for me. Entering quietly through our front door, the apartment felt wrong immediately. Too quiet, too still, yet charged with an invisible energy. No TV played. No music. Just faint sounds coming from the direction of our bedroom. My feet moved automatically while my brain screamed at me to turn around to preserve the life I thought we had. The bedroom door was not fully closed. One gentle push revealed the scene that would permanently divide my life into before and after. Trevor and Alicia tangled in our sheets, in our bed, in our home. Her head thrown back in pleasure, his hands where mine should be. The matching birthmarks on his shoulder that I used to trace as a child now moved rhythmically as he betrayed every promise we had ever made. Time froze. My vision tunneled until all I could see was their shocked faces as they registered my presence. Alicia scrambled to cover herself, her expression morphing from ecstasy to horror in an instant. Trevor jumped up, stumbling over explanations before he had even found his boxers. Jarvis, this is not what it looks like. He started using the same phrase he had used when caught stealing cigarettes from Dad at 15. Really, my voice sounded foreign to my own ears. Because it looks like my brother and my girlfriend are fucking in my bed. Alicia was crying now, mascara tracing black rivers down her flushed cheeks. We never meant for this to happen, she sobbed. It just evolved between us. I was going to tell you. How long, I asked, my voice deadly calm despite the volcano erupting inside me. Their glance toward each other answered before their words confirmed it. 7 months, Trevor admitted. But it started as just talking. We connected in a way I never expected. In our home, I interrupted. While I was working to pay our rent, while I was planning our future, these questions directed at Alicia, whose tears suddenly seemed performative rather than genuine. I developed real feelings for him, Alicia offered. As if that somehow excused the deception. We tried to fight it. We really did. The laugh that escaped me sounded deranged, even to my own ears. Clearly not hard enough. Was it happening here, every time I went out of town, every late night at the library? Their silence was confirmation enough. Get out, I told Alicia. Pack whatever you need for tonight and get out. I will be staying with Kyle. You have until tomorrow evening to remove your things from my apartment. Trevor stepped forward, still half naked. Jarvis, please. Let us explain properly. You are my brother. We can work through this. Something inside me snapped at those words. Brother, you lost the right to call me that the moment you touched her. Do not call me. Do not text me. As far as I am concerned, I am an only child. From this moment forward, I walked out without taking anything, not even my jacket despite the rain. The betrayal felt physical, a knife twisting in my gut with every step. That night, from the safety of my friend Kyle's couch, I made the hardest call of my life to our parents, explaining through choked sobs why I would never speak to their firstborn son again. The family fractured along predictable lines. Mom begged me to reconsider, insisting that brothers forgive each other. Dad remained uncomfortably neutral, refusing to take sides between his sons. Aunts and uncles offered unsolicited opinions, ranging from supportive to accusatory. "Family is family," my Uncle Phil kept repeating as if the words themselves possessed magical healing properties. The 3 months following the discovery were the darkest of my life. Kyle generously offered his spare room, but kindness could not fix the hollowness expanding inside me. I lost 15 pounds from simply forgetting to eat. Sleep came in violent bursts between nightmares of finding them together. My work performance deteriorated so dramatically that my supervisor called me in for a concerning performance discussion. The dual betrayal had shattered my foundation. Losing Alicia was painful, but Trevor's betrayal demolished my entire understanding of family loyalty and trust. If my own brother, my blood, my childhood defender, could violate our bond so completely, who could ever be trusted again? I started therapy out of desperation, not conviction, attending weekly sessions where I mostly sat in silence, unable to articulate the depth of my pain. Thanksgiving approached, bringing fresh torment as family members pressured me to attend the traditional gathering. "Trevor will be bringing Alicia," my mother informed me during one of our strained phone conversations. The casual way she mentioned their relationship as if it were normal and not born from deception confirmed my decision to spend the holiday alone. I ordered Chinese takeout and watched football in my newly rented studio apartment, ignoring the barrage of family harmony text messages that pinged throughout the day. Christmas followed the same pattern: unwanted advice, guilt trips, and ultimately isolation. I sent gifts to my parents through the mail and declined all invitations. New Year's Eve found me on my couch with a bottle of whiskey staring at my phone's black screen as the ball dropped in Times Square. Rock Bottom had a surprisingly comfortable couch. 6 months after the discovery routine finally began replacing despair. My new apartment, sparse but clean, became a refuge rather than a reminder. Work improved gradually as I channeled my energy into projects rather than rumination. Therapy started yielding small insights, though trust remained a foreign concept. I had accepted my new normal, functional but guarded permanently, altered by betrayal. Then came the chance encounter that rewrote my story. During my Saturday morning coffee ritual at Lakeside Brew, I literally bumped into a woman exiting as I was entering. Coffee splashed across her white shirt, drawing an immediate apology from me. "Jarvis?" she asked, squinting slightly. "Trevor's brother, right." I froze, immediately defensive at the connection to Trevor. But as recognition dawned, my tension shifted to confusion. Madeline, Trevor's ex-girlfriend from years earlier, stood before me, dabbing ineffectually at her stained shirt. Our conversation started awkwardly, both of us dancing around the Trevor-shaped elephant in the room. After offering to pay for her dry cleaning and buying her replacement coffee, we found ourselves sharing a table by the window. "I heard about what happened," she said, finally directness replacing pleasantries, "with Trevor and your girlfriend." My jaw tightened automatically. "Ex-girlfriend." She nodded, understanding, filling her eyes. "He has a pattern." Those 4 words cracked something open between us. Over the next hour, Madeline shared her own history with Trevor, the multiple instances of cheating she had discovered during their 2-year relationship, the gaslighting that made her question her own reality, and the relief that eventually came with their breakup. "I tried warning his next girlfriend," she admitted, stirring her cold coffee. "She thought I was just a bitter ex. Sometimes people have to learn the hard way." Finding someone who understood, truly understood, the particular pain Trevor could inflict felt like discovering water in a desert. We exchanged numbers before parting, a friendly gesture, without expectation. Our friendship developed gradually. Weekend coffee became weekend hikes at the local nature preserve. Madeline, a graphic designer with her own freelance business, understood my erratic healing process because she had navigated similar terrain. When family pressure intensified around my birthday, she offered practical strategies for maintaining boundaries without severing ties completely. "You do not have to choose between self-respect and family," she said during one of our hikes. "You just need to teach them how to respect your boundaries." Her support extended beyond emotional guidance. When my 6-month lease ended, Madeline helped me find a more permanent apartment, and even enlisted her brother to help move furniture. Through her, I glimpsed possibilities beyond betrayal. Friendship without agenda, support without expectation. The transition from friendship to something more happened organically. 3 months after our coffee shop reunion, Madeline received news that her father had suffered a minor heart attack. Without thinking, I drove her 2 hours to her parents' home in Toledo, waiting in the hospital while she spent time with her family. Seeing her vulnerability awakened protective instincts I thought had died with Trevor's betrayal. Still, we circled each other cautiously, both aware of our complicated connection through Trevor. The conversation that changed everything happened on her balcony, beneath uncharacteristically bright stars for our urban setting. "Does it bother you," she asked suddenly, "that I was with him first?" The question deserved honest reflection. "Sometimes," I admitted, "not because of jealousy, but because I worry we are trauma-bonded rather than actually compatible." Her laughter surprised me. "Jarvis Thompson, I have known you for 5 months. In that time, you have shown me more respect, kindness, and genuine interest than Trevor managed in 2 years. Our connection has nothing to do with him, and everything to do with who we are together." Our first official date happened the following weekend at the Contemporary Art Museum. We deliberately chose an activity neither of us had shared with Trevor, creating memories uniquely ours. When I kissed her beneath a particularly moving installation about human connection, it felt like beginning rather than echoing. Building trust with Madeline contrasted sharply with my relationship with Alicia. Where secrecy had festered with Alicia, transparency flourished with Madeline. We established an open phone policy, not from insecurity but as a commitment to transparency. We discussed triggers and boundaries, openly acknowledging the baggage we both carried, while refusing to unpack it permanently in our new space. Meeting her family added another dimension to our healing. The Andersons welcomed me without reservation, her father jokingly threatening medical consequences should I hurt his daughter while her mother fed me until movement became challenging. Their unconditional acceptance highlighted how relationships should function, providing a template distinct from my own family's complicated dynamics. 18 months into our relationship, during a weekend at her family's lake house, I proposed on the dock at sunrise. No elaborate staging or public spectacle, just honest words and the ring I had selected with her sister's guidance. Madeline's yes came through happy tears, followed by a confession that she had been afraid to hope for this level of commitment, given our complicated history. Our engagement announcement on social media generated predictably mixed reactions. Friends offered genuine congratulations. Extended family sent cautious well wishes tinged with confusion. My parents expressed happiness tempered with concern about family dynamics. "Have you told Trevor?" my mother asked during our first post-engagement dinner. "No," I answered simply. "His feelings about my engagement are not my concern." Through family gossip networks, I learned that Trevor and Alicia had continued dating after my departure, moving in together almost immediately. Their relationship had imploded spectacularly when Alicia began an affair with her medical school professor, leaving Trevor with a painful mirror of his own behavior. The irony was lost on no one except perhaps Trevor himself. His first indirect communication came through my mother. "Trevor wants to clear the air before the wedding," she reported during one of our weekly calls. "He says he has changed since Alicia left." My response was simple. I am happy for his growth, but my boundaries remain unchanged. Planning our wedding brought unexpected joy. Madeline dreamed of a simple ceremony by Lake Michigan, where her family had spent summers throughout her childhood. We decided on an intimate gathering of 60 guests, only those who had supported our relationship and respected my estrangement from Trevor. "Are you absolutely sure about not inviting him?" Madeline asked one night while reviewing our guest list. "I support whatever you decide, but I want you to be certain." I appreciated her willingness to consider all perspectives despite her own history with Trevor. "If he were just my brother, maybe. But he is your ex, who cheated on you, and my ex-girlfriend's affair partner who betrayed me. There is no social etiquette guide for that particular relationship tangle." We agreed to hire discreet security for the event, a precaution that initially seemed excessive but would prove prescient. Trevor's reappearance in my life came without warning. One Tuesday afternoon, he ambushed me in the parking garage of my office building, stepping out from behind a concrete pillar as I approached my car. "We need to talk," he announced, as if the 3 years of silence had been a minor communication lapse rather than a deliberate boundary. Seeing him triggered a physical response. Elevated heartbeat, dry mouth. The distinct feeling of standing on unstable ground. Yet beneath the visceral reaction lay something unexpected: indifference. The brother I had idolized now appeared smaller, somehow diminished by his own choices. "I have changed," Trevor insisted, following me despite my clear dismissal. "Losing Alicia showed me how you must have felt. I understand now." When I remained silent, he continued with increasing desperation. "She cheated on me with her professor. Left me for him after everything I sacrificed to be with her. The universe has a sick sense of justice, right?" "What do you want, Trevor?" I finally asked, keys clutched tightly in my hand. "I heard about the wedding, about Madeline." His expression darkened momentarily. "That is quite the coincidence." "Not a coincidence," I corrected. "A consequence. We bonded over having the same betrayal experience. So, it is revenge." His accusation carried a spark of the old Trevor. Self-righteous indignation, masking accountability. "It is healing," I countered. "Something you clearly still need to work on." His demeanor shifted then, vulnerability replacing defensiveness. "I am your brother Jarvis. I deserve to be at your wedding, to be part of your life." The entitlement in those words, "I deserve rather than I hope to earn," revealed the superficiality of his supposed change. When security escorted him from the property at my request, his parting words confirmed my assessment. "You cannot erase me from your life. I am your blood." The incident triggered a renewed pressure campaign from my parents. My mother employed emotional appeals. "Life is too short to hold grudges," while my father resorted to tradition. "Family is forever, everything else is temporary." Extended relatives who had never expressed interest in my life suddenly became invested in my forgiveness journey, sending unsolicited advice about the healing power of reconciliation. The stress began affecting our wedding preparations. Madeline started experiencing anxiety dreams about Trevor crashing the ceremony. Vendor meetings that should have been joyful became tinged with contingency planning. We found ourselves discussing security protocols instead of first dance songs. The situation escalated during Christmas dinner with my parents. What began as a peaceful celebration deteriorated when my Aunt Margaret coincidentally invited Trevor without warning. His arrival, midway through the main course, created immediate tension, his rehearsed speech about bygones and blood ties falling flat against my explicit boundary violation. "My wedding, my rules," I stated clearly before leaving with Madeline. "Ambushing me will never change that." Trevor's tactics grew increasingly desperate as our wedding date approached. He appeared uninvited at our engagement party, alcohol fueling an emotional display that embarrassed everyone involved. He began calling Madeline directly, alternating between guilt trips about their past relationship and accusations about her intentions toward me. When blocked on all platforms, he created fake social media accounts to monitor our wedding planning. Through mutual acquaintances, he discovered our venue and floated threats about attending regardless of our wishes. The final straw came when we learned he had been telling family members that Madeline had stolen me as revenge for their breakup, a narrative that painted him as victim rather than perpetrator. The breaking point arrived during my mother's birthday celebration. Trevor arrived, visibly intoxicated, launching into accusations before the cake was even served. "You stole my brother from me," he slurred at Madeline. "You have been planning this revenge for years." Madeline, typically diplomatic, stood her ground with unexpected fire. "You did not value either of us when you had us in your life. You do not get to dictate how we found happiness after you discarded us." The confrontation escalated until Trevor revealed something I had never known. He had deliberately sabotaged a job opportunity I had been pursuing shortly before, discovering his affair with Alicia. "You were planning to move across the country," he justified. "I needed to keep you here, for your own good." The admission silenced the room, providing even my most pro-reconciliation relatives a glimpse into Trevor's true nature. My ultimatum followed naturally: respect my boundaries completely, or lose whatever family contact you still have. Your choice. With our wedding 3 months away, we implemented dramatic changes to ensure our day remained sacred. We changed venues from the public lakeside location to a private estate with controlled access points. All guests received individual codes for the digital invitation platform, preventing forwarded details. Professional security received not just Trevor's photograph, but contingency plans for various disruption scenarios. Friends stepped up in touching ways. Madeline's brothers Daniel and Thomas promised to run interference if needed. My college roommate Kyle organized a security rotation among groomsmen. Even my father, finally recognizing the severity of the situation, privately assured me he would personally block Trevor if necessary. The increased precautions brought unexpected side effects. Rather than amplifying stress, having concrete safety measures allowed us to refocus on celebration. Madeline's anxiety dreams subsided. Our conversations reclaimed their joyful anticipation. The us against the world sensation that had initially felt isolating transformed into something empowering. "Whatever happens," Madeline said, "the week before our wedding, we have already won by refusing to let fear dictate our choices." The final confrontation with Trevor happened not at the wedding but the evening before, at our rehearsal dinner. He appeared without warning as guests mingled on the restaurant's outdoor patio. Security spotted him immediately, but waited for my signal before approaching. Something in his posture, less aggressive, more defeated, prompted me to request a private conversation rather than immediate removal. We walked to a quiet corner of the garden, Trevor maintaining a respectful distance without prompting. "I am not here to cause problems," he began, his voice lacking its usual defensive edge. "I just needed to see you before tomorrow." "Why?" The simplicity of my question seemed to catch him off guard. "Because I realized something when I saw the change of venue announcement." He paused, visibly struggling. "You are actually afraid of me. My own brother fears my presence on the most important day of his life. That is who I have become to you." The raw honesty disarmed me temporarily. "Not afraid," I clarified, "unwilling to risk the peace we have built." "I have been in therapy," Trevor continued. "Real therapy. Not the performative sessions I did after Alicia left. My therapist helped me see that my jealousy of you has been driving my choices for years." He detailed patterns I had never recognized. His tendency to want what I had, his self-destructive habits, whenever I succeeded, his fundamental belief that my happiness somehow diminished his own. For the first time, I glimpsed the wounded person beneath the betrayal, though understanding did not equate to forgiveness. "I'm not asking for an invitation tomorrow," he clarified. "I know I have not earned that. But I wanted you to know that I am working on becoming someone who might someday deserve to be your brother again." The conversation ended without dramatic resolution or tearful embrace. I maintained my boundary about the wedding, while acknowledging his efforts toward growth. We parted with tentative plans for a supervised conversation after our honeymoon. Not reconciliation, but perhaps the first step toward whatever new relationship might eventually be possible. Our wedding day dawned with perfect early summer weather, the private estate grounds lush with June blooms. Despite assurances from security that the perimeter remained clear, I found myself scanning the tree line during photographs, half expecting to glimpse Trevor's familiar silhouette. Midway through the ceremony, movement at the property's edge caught my attention. Trevor stood at the farthest permitted point visible, yet respecting the boundary. Our eyes met briefly across the distance. He nodded once, then turned and walked away before any guests noticed his presence. That small act of restraint, allowing me my moment without disruption, communicated more growth than any speech could have. The relief of his departure allowed joy to fully emerge. When Madeline and I exchanged vows beneath an arch of wildflowers, my voice remained steady with the certainty of right choice, rather than shaky with lingering fear. Her father acknowledged our journey during his toast. "You two fought for this happiness. May you always remember its value." Our honeymoon in Maui provided space to process the complex emotions surrounding Trevor's evolution. Madeline and I spent evenings on our private balcony discussing the possibility of controlled reconnection, not from obligation but from cautious hope that genuine change might be occurring. "Forgiveness does not mean forgetting," Madeline observed wisely. "It means choosing to create something new while honoring the lessons of the past." We established clear conditions for any potential relationship moving forward, continued therapy for Trevor, genuine accountability rather than performative remorse, and absolute respect for our relationship boundaries. The path would be determined by actions, not intentions or promises. Upon returning home, we began building our life together with strong, healthy boundaries in all relationships. Occasional updates from my mother suggested Trevor was maintaining his therapy journey, speaking openly in family settings about his responsibility rather than deflecting blame. Small signs of authentic change accumulated gradually over months. 1 year after our wedding, we hosted a small anniversary gathering at our new home. After considerable discussion, and with significant precautions, we included Trevor for a brief supervised visit. The interaction remained awkward, but peaceful, marked by his visible efforts to respect our space and relationship. Looking back on the journey from betrayal to this moment of cautious healing, I recognize that establishing firm boundaries actually created the possibility for eventual reconciliation. By refusing to accept toxic behavior, I forced growth that might never have happened otherwise. The unexpected gift in this painful journey was finding Madeline, someone who understood my scars because she bore similar ones. Together, we transformed shared pain into profound connection, proving that sometimes life's worst betrayals can ultimately guide us exactly where we need to be. Have you ever had to cut ties with someone you loved for your own well-being? How did you handle family pressure to reconcile before you were ready? Share your experience in the comments below. If this story resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to hear more authentic stories about overcoming relationship challenges. Remember, sometimes standing firm in your boundaries is the most loving thing you can do, both for yourself and, ironically, for the person who hurt you. Thank you for listening to my journey, and I wish you courage in creating your own path to healing.